Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Hey, you're still logged on to Culture Daily. This is like a part two of the conversation, the big conversation we call it in our studio 899. I want to say a very big thank you to Hallmark and to Pepsodent for being part of our show all through. And yes, we're also looking for more corporate bodies to be in support of our Culture Daily. Exciting show it is. And to all of you who have been watching us as well, let me say good morning to you and thank you for making us number one. However, there are growing concerns about something that we really need to address this morning. I don't know if you are really, a big fan of following the conversations around Afrobeats, but anyway, I'll tell you what. Let me just simplify this real quickly. So, an American does an Afrobeat song, and the world has gone hysterical. Let me just go straight to the point. An American does an Afrobeat song, and the world has gone hysterical. In fact, Africa has gone hysterical. Africa has gone crazy. Like, okay, wait. First off, we're doing hip hop, right? We did some of the hip hop that we gave them. Well, yeah, and then now they are doing Afrobeats, and Africa is getting scared of what's going to happen if maybe the West decides to take on Afrobeats as. But of course, we amplified it. And that is the convo we're going to have this morning. The future of Afrobeats. Can gatekeeping help ensure the sustainability of the sound and its culture? And I'll tell you what. So there's this producer in the US. His name is Russ. He's a producer, he's a songwriter, he's an American rapper. Now, sometime back on Monday, 2020 February, this year, he previewed his soon-to-be-released single titled Give Me Love. Now, it's not a pop song, it's not a hip-hop song, it's not jazz, it's Afrobeats. Now, there was mixed reactions on social media with regards to this, but of course, it also raised great concerns about the preservation of Afrobeats as an African vibe. Yes, it's taking over the world. However, we need to, the elements can only be found in Africa. But how well can the gatekeepers keep this from us losing the originality and the culture of Afrobeats? But before we even jump into conversations, how about we put that video on screen for you to watch yourself? And also your comments are very much welcome. Check it out.
Oluwa Russ and Russ Chuko activated Afrobeat Smash, dropping this Friday. It's called Give Me Love.
Give me love.
Come on.
Give me love.
Go. Jinx.
Yes. Yeah, man.
It's a really nice one.
So 2012, I was sitting at a diner with heads of people from Viacom Network, the big dogs, the global big dogs, Nickelodeon, BET, reps. We were having a good conversation, and then one Nigerian lady, one man asked, one of the Viacom guys asked that. So but this is Zonto craze, like it's taken over, Africa.
Yeah,
and then one Nigerian lady says, yeah, like it's a Nigerian thing. It's like, my intotos, that's woke me up, and I was like, yo, hold on. Did you just say it was a Nigerian thing? Like, hold up, girl, hold up. Wait. Do you know what that Zonto even means? Listen, I spoke so passionately that day, and I'm sure if they had their own, they'll find me a TV show called
Thank you for trying to protect us.
So this Ras guy calls him, even nicknamed himself Oluwa Ras and Ras Chuku. He even had the guts to choose names. How dare you? But it's all good. It's called cross, what you call it? When the slave ancestors came and took slaves from Africa.
Cross Atlantic?
No, there was cross the intermarriages. So yes. So they had a lot of intermarriage, and then hence the reason why we have names like Atuk Hilson, who's a guest this morning. I got it right there, didn't I?
That was a good chance.
Anyway, Charlie, how be?
Cool.
Is it intermarriage, right? Intermarriage.
Yeah.
Intermarriage, yeah.
Very
Please, the ones like the local ones. I don't want to mention the local ones. We are from yeah. We came from the west. But it's all good though. It's all good. Just joking on that one. But I mean, this morning's conversation is very important that we must have, and it's about how we can, whether it will be right for us to even gatekeep this culture and this vibe, preserve it as African, and can the African be able to preserve it well enough for it to meet the global standards? Yes, somebody might argue and say Nigeria's already doing it. Others might say it could be better. Or we need to allow for the Western culture to be able to influence it and evolve to create mixed breeds, as I can say. And that is the conversation this morning. But I don't know if we should put out the reactions that we had on Twitter. To set the tone for the conversation. So some people who heard the song, got the preview as well, that was released sometime back on Monday the 20th, had this to say on Twitter. Let's see some of the reactions as we read them out to you if you're listening to us on Plus 89.9 FM. So we'll get the team to get the tweets on the screen. But whilst we wait for that to be done, let me just let's set the ball rolling with our conversations on this. I don't know where each of you will stand with regards to this, but let me take Atu's conversation first on this. What do you think? Good move, bad move? Can we keep this? We can't keep this. We allow for the westernization and possible modernization, if I can say that, of this vibe. Or keep it African and see what we can do with it. Anyway, sorry, I've just been noted that we have the tweets on the screen now. So, Joey Akan, verified account on Twitter.
Yeah, let them scroll up a bit. It's a thread he started.
Okay.
That actually started the conversation.
Okay, so that's how it ended. Yeah. So, Joey Akan says, Afrobeats smash dropping this Friday, says the US artist who has listened and interacted with our art and creatives enough to feel comfortable to make a record without a collaboration from anyone at home. Not a question, a statement. He says, what's next? Best Afrobeat artist win? But I'll read one. Before we even continue with the reading. So, just to understand, Russ has been a long time fan of Afrobeats and experimented with it long before the rest of the world caught up with the genre back in 2019. Well, Russ also enlisted Nigerian Afrobeat superstar Davido on a song All I Want. There's more. Now, recently, Ras, aka Oluwa Ras or Ras Chuku, made a guest appearance on Ashake's critically acclaimed debut album, Mr. Money with the Vibe, contributing a guest verse to the song Reason, and also got a song with King Promise. So at least you have a background of this guy, all right? Yeah, pace setter. Interesting. Now let's get the tweets back on the screen now and see how this fired up. So that's what started off the thread. He says, I thought it was going to take years, at least 5 more years before we get to this point. This is what I constantly harp about and get tagged. Controversial. Social media has sped it up, giving us access, but also offering them access to our culture. We only take money today, he says. What does tomorrow look like? Grim. If Russ puts enough marketing behind that record and it blows as a Western Afrobeats record, and I'll tell you what Cyril said, expect a rapid assimilation of everything else. And when Afrobeats can exist in the US without Nigerian artists, we are back to square one. 34,000 views on there already. There's more. It says, we're trying to fly. While trying to fly, build at home. You're an acquired taste, being studied and prodded with cash for the novelty and break you bring to the global pop core. Okay. It says Asians now make Afrobeats. American producers are all over TikTok churning out versions of it. Now Western artists ... are saying Emilokan new Afrobeat smash coming this Friday. You. In fact, as for Ghana, we understand that we even died before we resurrected. So we will back US. you know how the wars happen, right? And
strategic
how
backings.
The US backs and China is back. Ghana will back US to fight Nigeria.
If we can beat them, join them.
Oh la la, interesting. Look, this is very interesting, honestly, and I don't know where you stand or probably where you sit, if I may say, in all this.
Well, for me, I think things like this are inevitable. They are bound to happen. When you look at how music keeps progressing across time and how genres are also evolving, it's very easy for someone sitting somewhere in his room,
Raschuku, you mean?
Raschuku, Oluwaras, to just pick up. And, when it comes to genres and their progressions, they are heavily influenced by producers. And Ras is a producer, so it will be very easy for him to find an Afrobeats pack, some Afrobeats melodies for him to cook up something and just make a song. So it's bound to happen. It's just that maybe the gatekeepers in the Afrobeat scene thought it was going to take some time. But with the way now there's a global village, there's the internet, and people have access to things easily, it's very easy for someone to pick up on these things. And even when you look at the history of our music as well, even the history of the Afrobeats music, it was influenced by jazz. And jazz was also influenced by European harmonies and African rhythms. And so if you've had such a progression up until this time, and someone is also coming to pick up from where you've left off or where you are now, I don't see why that should be a problem.
I'll make it tougher, but Cyril said something as well. I think it's in line with what you were saying. Cyril, that point you were making. He said, I like this so much.
I was saying that we don't have any structures to protect our proprietary content, the stuff that is ours, right? Today, if I want reggae, what territory comes to mind?
Jamaica, yeah.
Right? Why is that? There's a million people making reggae all across every continent. But I know to go to Jamaica. Even if you are outside of Jamaica and you make the best reggae, you are still validated when you are able to get a Jamaican feature. Right?
But when Stonebwoy was doing dancehall, reggae dancehall, and it was hitting Jamaica because it's their thing, and now Africans have taken over. I'm sure, but now that's it's vice versa, and I'm sure Jamaica is doing this to us.
No, but Stonebwoy, they actually received it.
No, I'm just saying that how Africa took reggae dancehall, and now they're doing this to us.
But I think I agree with Cyril on what he said about there being the structure. With Jamaica, everyone knows that if you want to put out a certified reggae or dancehall song, you have to be in Tough Gong. You have to at least go there. And the funny thing is with Ras, Ras is on tour now, and he's touring Africa, right, and he's in SA, and he's not even coming to Nigeria. So it validates Cyril's point about there not being a structure and we not having that, West Africa in particular, not having that recognition that this is the headquarters and this is where everything.
I think that's
why. You know why we don't have that? We don't have that because consistently our genres or our discoveries tend not to unify us. Every time there's a music genre, it unifies the community in which the genre came out from. Grime and drill and all that, the UK scene is unified. When they hear that sound, no matter where they are on the planet, it's home. We 10 hours to fight. Right? Look at the hip life conversation we're having. It's still not be today. I brought it, I named it, I got the first hit, I played that beat, I got the first feature.
Yeah.
We are also concerned about those meaningless accolades that we forget that we are not securing the bag itself. So because we don't protect it and it doesn't unify anybody can pick apart and use it. So if you look at the Afrobeats vibe, even as it is now, the Afrobeats community, both in Nigeria and Ghana, has stopped serving Nigeria and Ghana. The pride point of Afrobeats now is if you're able to do an Afrobeat song that UK girls are singing, or Yankee people are jamming to. We all make noise about it. We've had it on Trending Live and unpacking that DJ Khaled, whose song did DJ Khaled? There was a video, Camido, and DJ Khaled was
and
there,
even Black Sherif.
and Black Sherif, and this person was there. There's nothing wrong with promo and sailing across the world with your success, but it needs to be concrete at home so that nobody can reach into that same bag where you got your blessing and just rob it. It's not as easy as, it should not be as easy as Ras just downloading an Afro beat drum pack
Kids, yeah.
and using his talent and watching some videos.
Even though, I disagree with all of you, but I just want you to finish.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to disagree with you.
Jay,
Pontius Pilate, we'll get to you. Don't worry.
I don't think that gatekeeping genres is the right way to go, because then that's how the genres begin to go down and under. When you begin to gatekeep, or you begin to want to fix it to a particular territory, right? Because then what happens is when people beyond that territory also want to do it, then it means they have to see somebody or seek some form of approval before it's done. But let's think about it. I mean, we were in the time where hip hop was a thing, and then we also picked from that and added ours and mixed and matched it to get hip life, right? So what if that wasn't there? What if they didn't agree to us taking the genres? And I think at this point that we've gotten to, the world is more global than we think. It will get to a point that people will come into our space or come into whatever we are doing to also, pick ones or twos from that. So I think it's normal. I don't think people should look down.
There are 10
on
questions here that we're going to be sharing our opinions on, and I won't say answer because no answer is right. So no answer will be right. It will be everybody's opinion. We'll go through one by one, but. I don't know. I want to hear from Olele as well.
I mean,
because I disagree with all of you. I don't know if you're going to say something.
Because of what Ato said, I think that is why Joey is of the view that
which Joey?
Joey Akan, the entertainment journalist. So what I realized from the trend was most of the arguments were coming from the Nigerians. Rarely did you hear some of the guys.
What can we say?
No, it's not that. No, Olele, it's not that. Don't put it like that. Don't put it like that. But you know that we can't even exactly pin.
This person now and talking, then
No,
and then
don't do that.
I have
No.
come and I want to make
You guys
complaint.
don't do that.
No,
It's just rather, it's because they've really pushed the Afrobeat narrative, right? So it's easier for you to think about Nigerians when you think about Afrobeat.
That's true.
But you know that from the start of that genre, from when it started getting popular, people were wondering its origin. We've not even been able to pin it down to a particular country or, people have not been able to claim it. That's what I'm saying, that it's because they've been able to really blow it up. Right? That's why. So don't put it that way.
But even in documentation, the genre is referred to as West African.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because now even I think this is arguable, but the biggest Afrobeat song now is People by Libyanka. And she's from Cameroon. And it's a West African country. So
as it were.
Look,
but my point, what I was trying to say was the fact that Joey mentioned something, I think maybe we might have missed it. He was like, it's not even been 5 years, to have this infiltration come about. I think that the challenge is, have we done enough to allow other people to come in and reuse it? Like the way we talk about Jamaica and reggae. I don't know how many years reggae has been in existence before Jamaica became the household, owners of the genre. But I think I'm looking at where Joe is coming from, the fact that the Afrobeat genre is still young. We haven't really championed it as much as we would want to. Just like the way Azonto came in and we didn't really hold on to it. We didn't really exhaust it. We didn't really squeeze the juice out of it, and then it actually died, right? The fear I'm seeing is the fact that now the Westerners are going to be doing the Afrobeat sound. They're going to use that same sound to win awards laurels and stuff like that. I think the last time it was the Grammy or something, one award was given to a particular group, and it wasn't really. I think was it rock? No, it wasn't rock. It was a.
It was the world music.
Yeah, world music. Something. I need to get my facts right before I speak on it. So my challenge is, at what point do we say, okay, we have finally arrived as Afrobeats? Because if you ask me, I think we've done enough for the world to come on board. And really, our our validation did not come from us, Mumu. It came from these same people. Because when Afrobeats was making the waves in the US, in the UK, that's when we realized that the Afrobeats genre had gone global. We didn't really validate Afrobeats. We didn't really validate it.
Headmaster has something.
We didn't really validate it. So I don't see why people are upset. People are worried.
We didn't protect it. The thing should go and say.
No, I say.
I don't feel
when Burna Boy and this guy were snapped from this year's Grammy Awards, the conversation changed. That okay, we should start having our own awards and start awarding our people, because now they are cheating us. And I'm like, bro,
0 times 0 is how much?
0. And who here? Because at the end of the day, we sought our validation from the guys abroad. They gave us the platform. They gave us the publicity we're looking for. They gave us everything that we are looking for to validate what today hip life. The reason why we are not talking about hip life today is because the world didn't really give us that kind of validation that's given to Afrobeats. Azonto had that kind of global validation, and like he said, we fought against each other and we spoiled it. Yeah. We didn't really validate ourselves. That is why up to now we can't really champion in general from this country.
Okay, so loud and clear, and I heavily disagree with all of you. It's quite unfortunate, but I have to disagree with, and I'll tell you why I disagree with all of you on a rather serious note. So, for you to be able to slang, it's very easy, right? It's very easy to slang or slur. In fact, it's very easy for us
to laugh,
to mimic
us to laugh.
The American or Western culture. It's very easy. It's too easy because
on God, bro.
Because bro,
for real, bro.
3 days
on God, bro.
3 days, bro.
Yeah.
3 days. I can say 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days.
And we don't know what they're talking about. 3. Oh, 3.
Yeah, we don't. Oh, yeah, we don't say 3.
But they can't say, but you are to.
You see, but for a Westerner to develop the tongue of the African, it's not going to be easy. That's one. And the Afrobeat music space has been heavily infected. The cancer of language and rhythm has the cancer of language and rhythm has heavily infected the Afrobeats music to the point that, for me, this Real Direction song is not nice. I don't even know why people like it.
Which direction?
It's too slurred.
Which song?
Play the song again and see if it's nice.
The one we just listened
to?
Yeah. But you were clapping and jamming.
No, I was laughing at it. Hold on.
Wow.
Oh, no, the rap song.
No, I'm being very... No, I was just mocking it.
It's not nice.
Oh, please.
When you say it's not nice.
Listen, hold on. There's no way you can compare the...
I have a counter for what you're saying when you're done, though.
No, you're a sound guy. You should be side with me.
Yeah, we are.
There's no way you can compare the tone. Yeah, we'll play the video again.
You can send Mumu outside with you, but...
The tone of the music, you can clearly realize that it's a copied, it's a forced kind of thing. It is not original. And for the West to be able to mimic and get the original copy of our Afrobeats, it wouldn't. Look, I can't even say it would take them 10 years. They would never achieve it. What the best they can do is to you see them trying to dance Azonto and all the choreographed dances and all those sometimes and they're trying to copy it. You see that you realize that it's still not, the vibe is not there. Remember when Fields came here? I asked him a question about why do you think maybe Ghanaians are not able to grasp the Afrobeats from the Nigerian perspective, and he said that, listen, Cyril himself said here that you have to be Nigerian to understand our vibe. The Afrobeats is not just a simple rhythm. It is our DNA. It's a representation of. It's like us screaming out loud. And for anybody to try and copy it, listen.
Sir, can I answer a question? Sir, before the song. Before the question. No, before.
I said that.
No, you see, I've collected tickets for my train of thought. If I don't go, it will leave.
Hold on, relax. You all spoke. I kept quiet. To keep quiet and listen to 4 people speaking the same language.
To speak nonsense.
So let's put the song back on there. And if you're a true lover of Afrobeats, tell me that this song is powerful enough.
I beg you, when we
cause
come
havoc.
now, let me show you something.
Put the song back on there. Let's play it.
Produced by me. Come on, man.
Strong enough to jam.
Oh,
in
Jay,
a
can
club.
I
Can I ask a question, Jay?
Listen,
Just a quick question. Just
Let's
a quick
not lie
one.
to ourselves.
No, what you're saying, I want to
cannot
ask a question.
defend this argument because it would take a certain understanding
Jay, so
before you would get.
if you
I'm
heard
not
this
coming
record
from a
without seeing the
gatekeeper,
video-
a gatekeeper's numbers and how much on boom play and audio mark, and yes, you get the numbers. But I'm telling you that if you want authentic, you will hear reggae music. But if you want authentic reggae music, go to Jamaica.
So you're saying that
No,
Afrobeat is
Jay.
If you want an authentic, listen, because every day you hear people speaking patois. You hear our Stone Boys, you hear our Shatters and Co speaking patois. Has it reached? If I put a Jamaican next to them, you will tell the difference.
Yes, you
There
will.
is no way you give me. We don't say give me. We say give me. In fact, we
Jay.
say show them.
Jay,
That's
with
what
what you
we
are
say.
saying, hold on. With what you are saying, right?
Lyrically,
It's just like you're
I don't
saying.
think that these lyrics are Afrobeaty enough for me.
No, Jay, it's just like you're saying with the language, with patois. It's just like you're saying a Nigerian won't speak Tree as well as a Ghanaian. Of course, that won't happen.
And they did
Listen,
That won't happen. You always tell the difference. Yeah, you always tell the
baby
difference.
girl,
The
but
Africa, within Africa, our tonation, we would always be one.
No.
The second Chinese speaks the same Odoyewu to you.
No,
My sister,
Jay.
you will laugh.
There's a reason you
The
can
second
tell.
German speaks this, and it's language is tone. But what I'm just saying is that I cannot listen. People can take me hard on social media. I cannot defend this in any way. It's a nice song. It's a nice studio jam. It can come out and make waves and get some traction around. But I'm telling you that it's not an original Afrobeat song.
No,
I've
Jay,
told you I can't defend
and you
it.
don't even have to be
It's
Nigerian
spiritual.
to do Afrobeat.
It's
Jay,
spiritual.
wait,
To understand
you
God, you cannot read and say facts. It's spiritual.
Jay,
I
Jay,
cannot
you don't
hear
have
all of
to be
you.
Nigerian to do Afrobeat.
Tell him,
Like that's
tell him.
not the case.
I did not say you have
Let's
to be
look at
Nigerian
Libyanka.
to do
Let's look
Afrobeat. I'm
at.
not saying Nigeria is
No, you
championing the
mentioned
cause.
that
But you mentioned
no one can.
language.
Yeah, you
you
mentioned
said
it.
language. You mentioned language. And
Yes.
I don't think that should be
You
a
don't have to
problem.
be Nigerian to do Afrobeat. Let's use Libyanka's song as an example. Let's even use our very
Forget,
own
in
only
some
DJ.
cases, in some cases, rhythm works. In some cases, language works.
So, Jay,
and
are
I'm
you
saying that.
Jay.
And I'm saying that Afrobeat respects the African space.
Great, no problem.
Afrobeat,
But
if you like, I dare you. Let any African artist do Afrobeats and slang. I'm daring you
They
and
won't
see
do
that song.
Afrobeat and slang.
Burna Boy's album.
Hey, bruh,
The
that-
last one. The one that won the Grammys. The one that won the Grammys. What was the title?
Twice as tall.
Twice as tall.
Yeah.
Go and listen to the all the songs again.
So, Jay, your point
And
is...
I'm telling you that the reason why it won the Grammys, aside from the back end push and all from Diddy, was also the authenticity, the Africanness.
But that is Burna Boy.
You
Burna
don't
Boy
get that
is known
song.
to be
You
authentic.
give me love,
Jay,
give me love.
So yes, so the long and
Solution
short,
has been
the
out for
long
a very
and
long
short
time. I
of
don't know
your
what
point
it's
is,
trying
the
to
long
say.
and short of your
It's
point
called
is what
It's spiritual.
it can never be
It would never
replicated.
work, regardless gatekeepers
It
or not.
will.
There's
Unless-
you don't need any structures to protect the Afrobeats. It's ours. It's African. It's within
but
us.
But the people who are giving the validation,
no matter the kente you put on a white man, it will never look like his.
The white man didn't the white man didn't have to validate kente.
No, I'm not talking about validation. I'm saying,
but
no matter how many points of black polish you put on a white man, the kente will still never look like his.
I want to come in, but I want to
speak.
Before his arms become numb.
Cyril is acting like the guy who went to measure his wife's this thing was coming. my brother speak.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, gentlemen.
All protocols observed. My name is Cyril. We are making a big mistake. We are forgetting that nobody cares where it comes from. That's one. Secondly, we have given the world the taste of this product. The consumer and the person who is looking for Afrobeats now is no longer the West African. It is the world. The person in Japan, France, Italy, Spain, Canada. So they don't care whether Ras has a Ghanaian accent or a Nigerian accent. They just care about the most prominent elements of Afrobeats, which is in the name of the genre, Afro beats, that timing, that rhythm, those instrumentation. And that is where Ras has the advantage because he is a producer first. You understand? So when you have the likes of Fields in studio with Dr. Dre, ask yourself why. Because the producers are trying to understand how to create that foundation so that if it's Lil Wayne or it's what's his name, Bruno Mars, that jumps on the production, it is still Afrobeats. Are you saying that Selena Gomez featured on Rema's song? She doesn't have any tone. She sang.
Go and listen to her parts.
No. Let me land. Let me land.
Let me sing it.
Let me land.
You didn't even hear what she said.
Bro.
I dare you.
Bro.
I am daring you to go and listen to her parts. I said, you can't even hear what she said.
Yes. Let me land. Yes. You can't hear her. We don't like her lyrics. Blah, blah, blah. Everything you said, I agree with you perfectly. But guess what? The bank does not care. The awards that do not care. When we did a comparison. Listen, no, we did a comparison. We did a comparison. Jay, relax. We did a comparison where we took Rima's song with all the Niger by himself. And the wonderful achievements that he had. And then we took the same song with Selena Gomez. And we saw the impact that the same Selena Gomez that doesn't have the African vibe. Sweetie, relax.
It's the same with Kelly Rowland and
it's normal. Listen,
Ira Star.
Get the
I don't know why the police talking to us like that.
Get the argument.
Charlie, you actually
if you put the name Michael Jackson on an Afrobeat jam with with Asake or with some Kim Promise it would definitely go viral because it is the person. But Michael Jackson, may his soul rest in peace, cannot do an Afrobeat song for us to say that unless he's using his weight. But listen, it is a vibe.
No, Jay, they can learn it.
Protect yours by understanding that there are certain elements in the music. Actually, you know what I'm talking about. In the music that cannot. Listen, don't get it confused. I'm just saying, Dr. Dre can use his studio to produce an Afrobeat song. Nobody has stopped him. Yes, he can use 808s in there and jam with some crazy snare and hi-hats to produce an Afrobeat. We are the smallest market. He can use Dr. Dre. Can use.
Okay, I want to clarify something. I want to clarify something. No, you want to clarify so that we don't fight. I want to clarify that we don't fight. Sweetheart, I want to clarify that we don't fight.
Clarify what?
Are we talking about the proper business impact and the impact of the whole thing, or we are talking about the sound and whether or not they will be good at stealing it?
Yes.
Because it's like we are doing oranges and apples. Yeah. I am focused on the fact that they will steal it.
How?
Whether they are singing French or Japanese on it.
The American is not a fan.
Joe, even if the song, if they play that same Give Me Love beat, and it's ching chong ching 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 chong chong on it, it will hit somewhere and outrank your Ghanaian Afrobeats or your Nigerian Afrobeat star.
I'm going to make a statement. It will even shock you the more than you
shock us, CCG.
Even fight me more. The American, the guy from Texas, the guy from New Jersey, is not even a big fan of Afrobeats. Understand what I'm telling you?
Why? How?
There's country music. Basis? There's all those things that he's focused on. Listen,
but you know the American.
But if the American does Afrobeats to release an Afrobeat song even in America, he will not even get that traction. It has to be here that has to be received.
But you know the American...
I'm telling you that the receiving...
now...
that's what they said about Eminem.
As compared to ours.
The American in Texas is also a fan of a certain artist who is in Texas. And if that artist he's a fan of does Afrobeats, he's going to listen to it.
How?
Because a big example is what happened with Drake. And honestly, never mind. Drake made a fully house music album, and his fans streamed it.
Yeah, because it is a Western conversation.
No, they are a fan of Drake.
Yeah, but it's
so
a Western
they'll buy it down on everything he does. With respect to the songwriting, I'll get technical a bit here. When it comes to Afrobeats, there's something called lamba, and with lamba, it's just how you are able to flatter your audience. So how you stylize certain words and how you say certain things in the songwriting. And a very big example of people like that is Ira Star. If you look at Simi, if you look at Fowls, and how they have their songwriting done, they use lamba a lot. And that's what it might take a while. It might probably take the 5 years Joey Akan is talking about for them to get that right. Because a typical example of that also is what we saw when Sarkodie was in the studio with Cranium, and how he found it difficult to replicate the Chi words that he sang on. But you know, with everything, when you keep at it, you are going to get better. Even when you look at K-pop, there's a certain word they use a lot, which is similar to the explicit N-word. And it used to, it caused some controversy some time ago, not too long ago. People thought they were actually saying the N-word, but it's language, it's phonetics. And with time, people are going to get it. And so maybe that's the only big advantage we have here, that it will be difficult for them to replicate the lamba. But with time, they will get it. Because when you look at the Gimme Love song, right, maybe he could have said...
They had to come and take people from here to... Even if you listen to the language of when they're trying to be African.
They had language coaches.
When you are trying to be African, you can tell that it's forced. You see... Let's not fail to accept the truth or the fact that if you keep what's the word, like introducing a bit of fear and worry that it will be lost to the West, how would the West take Afrobeat?
Oh no, it's not a fear.
They can't. There's no business. There's nothing about it that they can't. I'm telling you, there's nothing about it that the West can take about Afrobeat because it is African. For you to be able to take it, you have to be African. You cannot do this from China. It won't work. It simply won't work.
You know, in the K-pop industry, they have like fully fledged Afrobeat songs. There was even a guy who replicated Sarkodie's Illuminati from front to back. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a typical example.
How much change would it cost?
You know, Oju Elegba is regarded as the Afrobeats anthem. Oju Elegba sampled Nothing But a G10 from Dr. Dre. When you listen to Nothing But a G10, I think on the third count, there's a certain synth that plays. That's the main melody of Oju Elegba. So it is a genre. It's going to progress. And producers are the ones who set pace for a genre to progress. And that's what we are seeing.
You're telling me Dr. Dre will risk his, what you call it, and go and do an Afrobeat jam.
He's going to do it.
But Beyonce
it's inevitable.
Will collaborate, but on his own.
He can do it on his own. We are seeing Russ do it on his own. And when he releases
and he likes the song.
It's
Jay,
nice.
Why
It's danceable.
Why you
Play the song again.
It's good. I mean, we are just even listening to just a bit of it, right? So let's wait until the whole thing is out. And even that is going to be typical. Even some very indigenous Afrobeat sounds, when we hear it on TikTok, we hear a bit of it. And then we hear the full thing and we are like, I don't think it's good enough. If this is the case, then it's the same thing. It's very typical. It happens with every song.
I want to ask you
so, Jay, I don't know.
I want to ask you something. If you didn't see the white man do it, you didn't see this video,
and you just heard it,
would you have the same position?
Yes, because
no, Jay.
No, but how can you answer for me?
You know. Sometimes you hear.
I thought you were my friend.
Sometimes you hear hip hop song, right?
You listen to.
Sometimes you hear hip hop song and you be like, "Oh, this guy sounds like Kendrick Lamar."
Yeah.
And then you find out that, and then you find out that he's a guy who lives at La Paz.
Yes.
And then you just lose faith in the song.
What did I say?
You say what?
In my opening statement, I said it is easier for an African to mimic the West than for the West to make an African.
Are you sure?
Exactly.
What makes you think the West also think that we are not doing it right? What makes you think that
in
the
the
West
accent?
I'm
I'm a voiceover guy. I can play
but
a
you
sound
see,
from one Africans who have migrated to the UK who when they talk and I can't even hear a word.
Jay, I'm saying that what makes you think that
talk was even given I'm telling you, what are you saying?
What makes you think that they think that the Yao Talk accent is
fake?
Proper?
Yeah.
What makes you think so?
They can also read between the lines.
They have adopted the British accent to the point that when they speak, you might not even think them as Africans.
No,
are you telling
there
me
will always be that difference.
Let's
use Black Sheriff as an example.
Are you telling me? No, let's get the argument serious. Are you telling me that there are no Africans that have migrated to the West, adopted the accent to the point that they don't even sound African again?
They use the word migrated because
they are Lebanese and Chinese people speak
in Ghana. Schools I know here who have just developed an accent from DSTV's Cartoon Network.
And that is,
are you telling me?
That is okay, but I'm telling you, there are Chinese and Lebanese people in this country who can speak Twi
better than some Ewe.
So
can you even compare the numbers?
No, but with music, speaking is different from singing or rapping.
But I'm telling you that Afrobeats that's why I said I've not argued this out
because I get Afrobeat gatekeeper.
Let's take the first question. It's 9:21 already.
Because the way he's
gatekeeping be used to push back against westernization of Afrobeats. Or should it be used to allow for collaboration and fusion with other genres? I don't know if you...
I think gatekeeping should be used to preserve the authenticity of Afrobeats. We cannot control it, so people must be allowed to do whatever, sample, feature, blah, blah, blah. But we must gatekeep and own the authenticity to create, again, that scenario that I gave with Jamaica. Anybody on the planet can do reggae. One of the most successful reggae artists is Gentleman. He's white. He's German. But he's won all the awards and he's respected even in Jamaica. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Jamaica owns reggae. Currently, we are known for Afrobeats. We are known in Ghana and Nigeria, and most recently, La Bianca is from where? Cameroon. So it's expanding. We need to own this undoubtedly. Then whoever picks it up and wants to give their own rendition is free to do so, and we are not at risk. Currently, I don't think we own it enough.
We don't own it enough.
Afrobeats?
We don't own it enough?
We own the hype, bro.
If I when you say, okay, no, I'm being this thing. There are a few tweets in there, though.
See, when you say we don't own it enough, in what sense? In terms of production, writing? Because with this particular video, right? Like I was saying, if I didn't see the video, I didn't see Ras, right? I would actually think it was an Afrobeat record from an Afrobeat artist because you could hear the parts, you could hear the way the song was written, the repetition.
Jay is in love with the song so much. He wants to listen to it over and over.
For real, just for the purpose of those who just joined in the conversation. That's
oh no! For purposes, we play it at the end.
So I want to find out what do you mean by we haven't owned it enough?
If I asked you to tell me the story of hip hop, you'd tell me. How we came from blues, how jazz influenced it, how it. You tell me. If I told you the story, if I asked you the story of reggae, you'd tell me. Tell me the Afrobeat story. All we know is that Fela Self starts some, but it won't be Afrobeat. And this one, it be this one, and it be this, and we are fine. Listen, all the listen, Jay, give me the Afrobeats story.
Let me tell you.
For me to know that.
Let me tell you. So
I love this.
So there was rhythm. There was rhythm from a part of the story that I can fish out. A part
no.
of the
story
There was reference
No. Ask me any genre. No. Let me cut you, bro.
There was reference.
Ask any genre on the planet. Any genre on the planet.
We
can tell the story.
I'm answering the question.
Any genre on the planet. We know what makes it authentic.
I'm coming. So there is reference from Fela because of rhythm. The rhythm that he was working his music on, which is similar. It has evolved to what we have now. Now, forget about the name Afrobeats or Afrobeat. That has coined up out of people's how people have called it over the years, to the point where now the people who were at the top probably have referenced it as Afrobeats, and then it's brought about this whole controversy with the name. But aside from that, we all make reference to it from from Fela. And then moving forward, there were industry plugs in Europe, in certain European countries, who were on major media house platforms that were forcing the African sound onto the West. So people like DJ Abrantier, who on a show at Capital at that time, he'll tell you that they never allowed certain kind of songs, to be played on the station.
Yeah, that's true.
And he one time, and he told me the story. He one time got a chance to do a show, I think in the evening, his show or something, where he asked permission that they should let him play
what he wants to play.
Yeah, songs from Africa, because you know how the playlisting works there with regards to consumer interest, paid spots and all those things. And then it started gaining traction. There was interest. The station's audience share increased, on his slot. And then gradually, with the BTL activations from Akwaba UK, Alodia and co, who were all doing events on the ground in the UK, it amplified the music. It amplified the culture. So they didn't have any option but to accept it. And there were other major players who were doing the same in various countries that gave rise, even in the US, the plugs in the US, all the people who were the presenters on the ground, who were now given chance for African artists now to come and host shows and be on their shows. And it gradually caught on. America has consumed its hip-hop and pop and jazz so much that they are looking for expansion. So the only expansion now is modern slave trade, which I've seen is coming to try and take our space. But unfortunately, times have changed. You can't just bring a ship and come and load it and go. You have to collaborate, sit with the people, and then have a conversation. That's why I'm saying that the farthest that an American, and I'm saying an American because, Russ, he's from America, right? The farthest you can go is to collaborate. But to try and do it as your own, Africa will sit here and watch you. Okay. And not consume the music because it's nice, because we are going there to critique it. You understand?
But you need a rush to validate your music. So how do you reconcile the two?
We don't need him to validate the music.
But Afrobeats.
Why do we need him to validate the music? And don't get it confused. This is also hit you guys hard. The fact that Grammys has nominated and awarded Burna Boy, that doesn't mean that they have any validation for us. I'm just saying.
We are excited when we saw our Nigerian brothers.
Because Africa has penetrated a place where they have kept on guard for years. Mm-hmm. And we shook them. So if they didn't have, listen, you see, you need to understand that they themselves need to grow. They need to, because of racism and all those things. They are very careful how they move. So over a period, now you are at a point where you don't have an option. And that's what Africa has done, the good that Africa has done. We've pushed them to the point where they don't have an option but to accept what we are bringing. If they want to be coming to our countries and playing ball with us, they have to equally allow us. That's what I'm saying, that it's no more a slave trade conversation. It's now a barter. You want me to give you Afrobeats? You put me in Grammys. Very soon, when this country, when we had the BT chat about why they are putting me at the backstage, I know which wasn't backstage anyway, by the way. I've been in BET 3 times. I've seen how it's done. And I'm telling you that it's not an African show in any way. It's a purely black American content-based show. But guess what? In some few years to come, they will not have an option. The Oscars are at a point where they don't have an option, but now to award black Lupito or whatever her name is. Yeah? Yes, I didn't want to say it and make a mistake. But we've pushed them to a point where they don't have an option but to accept Africa. Mm-hmm. They are not here. They can't steal what we have. They can only have a business conversation. I say, Dre.
You don't know the man of
Dre.
Can I?
Dr. Dre will never dare to release. What's his name? This DJ. God did. Khalid would never try and release. In fact, he does.
You saw what he was doing with Thames.
He would have to work. He would have to collaborate because that's where the conversation is.
So your point is they can't do it by themselves.
Of course they can.
They have to collaborate.
Yes,
with
and
us.
that is the gatekeeping.
They don't have to.
That is a gatekeeping.
They don't have to. You go.
You go ahead.
So the validation Olele is referring
to. Rhymes to do Afrobeats.
Hold on. If I understand that validation well, is the enthusiasm when we see DJ Khaled talk to Thames. It's that's joy we see when we hear DJ Khaled play Black Sheriff's song.
Just validated DJ Khaled. Don't be saying that.
Wait. Or when we hear him play, Jay, hold on. Or when we hear him play Camido's song, or when we see the collaboration between Diddy and Burna Boy, right? That is the validation. Listen, I'm so sure that Africans were doing their thing so much and really well to an extent that they were happy and comfortable where we were, right? Until we started breaking through Hollywood and America and the Western world, right? People didn't know certain people. So if you say Thames is validating DJ Khaled, the number of people who know Thames and the number of people who know DJ Khaled is different, is weighty. Do you understand? So even for people to see that happen, they'll know that, okay, there's some musician somewhere who knows, who is called Thames.
Years,
you get what I'm saying?
Africa,
I don't think...
For years, Africa has consumed any trash and garbage from the West for years. So we have... I'm coming. So we have made the West as like a standard. But guess what? We just brought a new standard.
But Jay, that's why I said that we were doing whatever we are doing so well.
Is competing heavily with Western music standards and visual standards in terms of music. So guess what? They don't have an option. If you can't beat them, what do? You join them.
But Jay, I just said that
Africans
were doing it so well.
Africa just validated with the West's interest in our music. We just now give them visa. Even visas come with conditions. And I'm telling you that there's no way a Dre or a Method Man will release an Afrobeat song for us to sit back and say that this is the jam of the future. No.
There's that possibility.
Can promise. Yapono.
There's that possibility.
Can I say something?
And even mentioning Ashake. You know Raz has a song with Ashake.
Will forever be African.
Jay.
And they'll forever be the gatekeepers. They'll be the
Jay
deciders
doesn't want to listen to anybody.
They will decide the rhythm.
Jay.
When we switch the rhythm right now, listen, the people, they can't even dance. What are you people telling me? Have you seen them dancing?
Jay, do you know the number of white people who know how to dance?
Go to a white club. I'm telling you, go to a white club.
No,
you will see offbeat.
Do you know white people who know how to dance?
That is one-offs. I'm telling you that it's always, you see them one-offs. It's fine.
Standardly, yes. Generally,
but you cannot tell me if you fly to New York right now and you land in LA right now,
Jay,
half of them can dance Congo. What are you telling me?
When you talk about the westernization,
but we are breakdancing.
Jay, when you talk about the westernization, it's basically we not allowing the Western culture to infiltrate what we have here. And when you look at our industries here, a typical example is the movie industry. They've had the Western culture infiltrate what is done. So now when you look at some of the movies that are coming out of Africa, they look like they are set in
Toronto,
like an American setting and all that. Now, what we can use the gatekeeping to do is to prevent that Western culture from infiltrating.
It can't. It can't.
It can.
It's infiltrated your fashion, your cinema, the way you talk, your sports, even your economy is even infiltrated.
And that is where the Afrobeat story comes in, because when you look at the Afrobeat story, categorically I can tell you that there is a gap from the 90s to the mid-2010s. There is a gap in that Afrobeat story, and it hasn't been told. And this is what the gatekeeping has to be used for, to tell that story, to make up for all the lost times and that gap in there. And that is going to set up that platform, is going to set that structure for everyone to say, okay, just like reggae is synonymous with Jamaica, Afrobeats is synonymous with West Africa, or even primarily Nigeria, Ghana, or any other country in the western part of Africa.
I think not even country. I think the outrage is coming from one particular country, and that's where the problem is. The Nigerians are.
Oh, I mean that's that one day you know it to be.
Yeah,
I support them 100%.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm happy that at least they are being very vocal about it. But the same Nigeria group, almost did that to South Africa when it came to Amapiano, and SA had to equally, come and say, "Boss, don't come and
those
take."
Those are internal rambles.
No, so I'm saying that a house that fights against itself cannot stand.
Oh, I mean those fans is normal.
Hold on, Jay, hold on. I'm saying that we will create that faction, or it would introduce a gap, and that's a gap that these whites could exploit. Yes, how they could exploit, because you see, we don't. The issue that we talked about hip life is almost creeping in. No, hold on.
You want who to sing Zombie for me?
Oh, Jay, listen to what I'm saying.
Listening.
Azon to buy Sanya and talk about and then we have not seen it again.
That's a Ghana problem.
It's not a Ghana problem. Azonto also got to Nigeria. And we were angry that Nigerians had come to take Azonto. And we are hold on.
Maybe you and your girlfriend you will have problems.
And even with Azonto.
Let me give you a point. Jay, do you remember what happened when they released the album from the AI artist?
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened? There was an AI artist who...
I didn't hear about it.
It made a lot of waves.
In whose land?
A lot of waves around the world in the music industry.
When some 100,000 Twitter people talk small...
No. It was actually released by a major US label. And they had to pull it down because the outrage was too much. They replicated the actual rap sound from production to lyrics to cadence to everything.
AI. I mean,
we are saying that the possibilities are endless.
Yes.
But we need to fix ourselves. Cyril mentioned something about structure. And it's a very important conversation we need to have now. What are we doing? What is our back end like? What are we doing to make sure that this genre that we are so excited about, we are putting the right structures, not just in Nigeria. Not just in Nigeria, because
we have that to discuss here.
When the conversation comes...
What are these structures you're talking about?
No, industry stakeholders, like you and I, like the artists themselves, what are they doing? The last time I saw Burna Boy in an interview and was asked about Afrobeats, and boy, he didn't even know how to explain what Afrobeats was.
But that's just Burna Boy.
No, but Burna Boy...
There are Americans who don't know the history of hip-hop, who cannot tell you the real, who shot Tupac.
That's the problem.
That's crazy. If Burna Boy can define Afrobeats.
Bro, Burna Boy is one of your biggest Afrobeat exports. And if he can't tell you what Afrobeat is, it's a problem.
Jinx.
So you're telling me that all top American artists, rappers, hip hop know the history of hip hop?
Yes.
All of them.
What are you talking about, Jay?
All of them.
How do you represent something you don't know about?
So because let me give a clear direction.
How do you ask the second question? So we are still on the first question. That's
because Burna Boy didn't honor his answer to your satisfaction.
It's not to my satisfaction.
Let me answer the question.
So it means we are going to lose it.
He's our biggest representative.
Doesn't mean we are going
He's our biggest representative. How can they come to
and
Ghana
how would the history of Afrobeats affect the
Hold on, Jay.
Give me...
Bro,
wait, with this example, it's like asking Jay-Z. It's like asking Jay-Z what hip-hop is.
No, to Papa.
And then he can't define it. That is very
the culture
problematic.
is to be angry with Jay-Z. Because Jay-Z is a
problematic,
Jay. According to what he lived.
No.
No.
Go and check all of it.
Jay,
you know the number of documentaries I watch on hip-hop.
Jay,
Why people sound like that? No, I'm surprised you're African.
I need some water.
I'm surprised you are not African.
No,
listen,
Jay.
Cyril just said, or in fact, in Joey Akan's tweet, he said that it's young. It's like Cyril said that that Afrobeat, we just kicked this thing in 2019 or 2018. We just started this conversation. I mean, you cannot compare it to a 200-year-old music genre. I mean, how are we making?
Jay?
You can't compare it.
As much as
and now the footprints of Afrobeat will be told 20 years from today.
Do you know this assertion is what legitimizes the issue that there has to be the story?
Let me.
But it's too early.
Let me say this.
Start from
It's
2019.
to see
let me.
It's not too early. It didn't just start from 2019.
Fully. The thing has 3 arms or 3 legs.
Per serial, let's say that.
No, it does.
Because it's not written in Wikipedia or anywhere.
No, it is.
And I can debate that.
Okay, no problem.
There's
the authenticity which ties in where it originated, who owns it, and who the founding influences are. Then there's the music, and then there's the business, right? We are currently winning on the music. Some of our biggest Afrobeats talents in Africa and in West Africa are not as big in the business. That's first. But everybody in general is doing zero on the authenticity and the ownership of the genre. Like Olele was just pointing out, if Burna Boy has gotten to where Burna Boy is, right, and still a clear definition is not available to say A, B, C, D is what I'm doing, right, then there's a clear problem. It's easy for every one of us in West Africa to make an Afrobeat song. The music part is easy because of the things you put out. Producers understand it. The language is available. The Odoyewu is easy. We all know what Shito is. We all know all those things. So music making, let me learn. Making the music of Afrobeats is easy. We are not doing enough on the business of Afrobeats.
Are you sure? You finish. I'm asking. I'm just.
We are not doing enough on the business of Afrobeats, and we have totally neglected securing what the thing actually is. We had the same conversation with the Hip Life guys when we had them on. And the question we asked them was that, why didn't you guys? And they are now saying, oh, we are now looking at doing it. In retrospect, it's always late. Somebody will sneak in and own it behind you. Yeah. So this is the time that when we are building the thing, we need to tell the world whether it's a square or it's a circle.
Straight.
You understand? Not when we are done and then somebody else says that, oh, it's a triangle. Then we don't go and be arguing that, oh, no, when we started, we were thinking about square.
Africans or Americans?
No,
we need to.
No, I'm American, bro. Like, I'm God, bro. Like,
no, you see, and it makes me go through our guide here, and I question a lot of things. That, look, we forced Apple Music. Boomplay is owned by who? Chinese, eh?
Yeah.
Yes. We have forced all these platforms to create a genre on their brand called Afrobeats, sorry. We did this by just creating what was African. Easy. I think if you ask me who should be scared, the West should be scared. In fact, there's a knee-jerk reaction from the West in trying to copy and mimic what we have by even using AI technology. It's a knee-jerk reaction.
Charlie, I like that.
You might take Brazil to be the best football players in the world, but there's African football, and we shall forever hold Africa. Bro, this is our music.
I need to put a score under
there
this.
There is no way in heaven's name any West can develop a sound without an African in it. And I'm telling you, when Selena Gomez featured, there's a feature on, who was that person, other person's song?
Rema.
Okay, so can the camera see this?
I'm coming.
Can the camera see this?
I'm coming, serious.
Put it on your forehead.
No, hold on. Let me finish and then you come. Let me hold it for you.
Put it this way.
The camera
Bring it down. Put it on your forehead.
You see the plenty colors and the pie chart. When Jay is done, I'll get into this. This is Spotify's genres, right, by consumption. I'll let you know which color is Afrobeat.
No, go ahead. No, maybe there's something in
No. The red color,
yeah.
I'm sharing it so production puts it
the red
up
color
on
is
it.
what?
No, you don't worry.
I'm sure that's
there is no way.
Afro mini can wear.
Listen, there is
yeah,
no
can't someone almost stomach.
No matter how small Jamaica is, Jamaica hasn't got any economy that is better than the US or China or Germany or whichever country or the UK. But without any structure, whether they own these DSPs or not, whether they own YouTube or they don't own it, if they don't even own it, yet it's not like there's been some major or there's been some sit-down conversations around how to protect reggae music to make it Jamaican. It's because you cannot get it as original as them. It's theirs, and I'm speaking to you, to everybody watching. There is no way that Africa will sit down for the West to be able to develop Afrobeats for us to consume it in the 21st century. Mark my words. I said it on 3 Music. It will never happen. It can't even happen. You know why?
Kim Jong-Foley.
Because there is a certain unexplainable vibe that are at play in the sound Afrobeat. That at this point in time, the West has no option because of the amplification that
that's what I just said.
Africa
It's the lamba.
managed to create and develop something that is roaring so loud. No, you can keep movies. You can do all the catcher in the movies. You can use green screen and light to us with Spider-Man, Batman. But what you can't do, I'm telling you,
Charlie,
is speak like
just
me.
Open church make you.
I can slur like you, but you can't speak like me.
Praise the Lord.
You can't. Because
offering time.
They say African inside. Do you understand what it means to be African? And for many years, Africa has slaved its thought because the West has managed to let us look down on ourselves to make what is West better. For many years. But for the first time, Africa has made the West realize that our music is a force to reckon with. So if you don't recognize our music on your biggest platform like Grammys,
the same people are paying
you will have a problem.
The same people are
in 10 years.
The same people are
and
are
the business, as we speak, and this is why I become Nigerian. Give me a Nigerian word to say once I see this speech. The same way we sit here right now, we see that Nigerians are taking over major positions.
Owned by who?
Do you know why? Some years ago, no, this is slave trade conversation. Some years ago, it was these same Westerners who would dictate. But right now, you need to let the algorithm speak our language, or else hip-hop itself is on a decline in Africa. Alright?
Do you know they are not doing this because they like Afrobeats?
Hip-hop.
They are not doing this because they like Afrobeats.
So guess what? Very soon, mark my words, you saw Jay-Z behind, Ghana behind Jay-Z's hoodie, right? 50 years ago, would they have come here?
But Jay-Z was in Ghana.
When he comes,
He even has property in Ghana here.
When he comes, you people at the GC event, at the GC event, you people jammed more to the local stars, the African stars, than even Usher himself. You can make all the noise you want. I don't.
Jay, what are you saying?
You said what?
No,
you enjoyed Usher's performance.
Jay, what are you saying?
Usher's performance needed localized elements.
That's
a few years ago, it would have only been Usher on that stage. I'm telling you, Jay-Z came to Ghana. He was alone on the stage with Memphis Bleak, or was it Memphis Bleak or who? Who was he on the stage?
No, that was
who?
Meek Mills.
I wasn't
It's Memphis.
Yeah,
That's
Fat Joe Cam, who you go and say no be Ipe. Let's continue. Mention them. Yes, but it started changing. If you want to play ball in Africa, you need us.
Do you know they are not doing it because they like Afrobeats?
Put the chat and let's give us some numbers that they have concocted. That we want to believe. Put the numbers on the
I just wanted to say, it's not, these companies are not doing these things because they like Afrobeats. They are doing it mainly because it's a business move. Everyone is making money off this, so they are trying to also be part of it. It's just for inclusion. It's not for any favoritism or the fact that they like the genre or they like the music or they like the people making it.
But who says they like jazz? It's business. It's been business across from day one.
Yes, it's always business.
Yeah, so China will build the AI, the platform because it's China. It's in that they have the industry technology, but doesn't mean that they're going to control it. They can't control it. Listen. They cannot listen. Do you understand what Africa is bringing?
You know, when the money is on the table, you don't have anything else.
No, I mean it's a platform. Somebody created it.
They make the decision.
Explain your pie chart. I don't know which.
You're listening.
The colors FC. You say change on your phone. If you red, yeah, change to blue. But you sham.
Hello.
No,
when you find Afrobeats, you
you change them. You change them. Now be red. You see, says your.
No, this was clear.
Okay. Oh. So if
you can show me Afrobeats. You can all see. Viewers, you can see. If you see Afrobeats, send your number. I'll send you Momo.
So what's the?
We are not even part of the conversation. That's what I'm saying. That Afrobeats, right?
But that's just them.
Oh, this is the world. Though. This is world listenership. That's
but the world listening on which platform?
This is all.
No, on which platform?
Relax for me. Let me wear my dross.
No, wait. Explain properly. The world listen on the DSPs, right?
Okay, so what you are looking at is the pie chart of the distribution of genres according to listenership up until 31st December 2022.
On all the platforms?
All the platforms.
Serial.
Oh, sweetheart.
Sweetheart. They use these DSPs. Sweetheart. What are we saying?
Sweetheart.
Finish.
Let me dress well. Okay? All I'm saying is to prove my point again. That the music might be trending on TikTok and on Instagram, and we being the custodians of the genre, we love it, and we are happy to see Wizkid with Chris Brown and Camido being listened to by DJ Khaled and Black Sherif moving on and all that. Fields was in studio with Dr. Dre. But I just made a point earlier on that the business of it is where we need to secure these things. You cannot, right, be passive about Afrobeats and expect to own it. It needs to be intentional. And some of the intentional moments is about making sure that you are represented in these recordings, right? There's a section for others, or there's either a section there for pop. We either fall under others or we fall under pop, right? And that is where the deadly thing happens, because guess who else falls under pop? Russ. Russ is a pop hip-hop artist, right? So Russ music will fall under R&B hip-hop, and his music will fall under pop. So tomorrow when they are ranking Wizkid and Chris Brown, it will be pop.
Yep.
Russ will be pop. The Chinese guys who are making Afrobeat will be pop.
Selena Gomez, pop.
Selena Gomez, pop. So automatically that song with Rema is in pop, 18%. What I am saying is that let's not get confused. Let's not be tasting our own food and say it's delicious, right? We know that the thing they pop, but it's music business. right? The only way to make sure that we own it and we can make sure there's a legacy for this thing is to take the business as seriously as we are taking the music. And the moment we do that, the story will be written, because who is going to fight for our representation here, right? Yesterday, I sent something in our group. Yesterday, 50 years ago, was when the hip-hop guys boycotted the Grammys, that until the Grammys make a hip-hop and rap category, they shouldn't put anybody's hip-hop music up on it. They should forget about them. And the Grammys woke up. What happened when Wizkid boycotted BET? Change now forever. We'll remember that Wizkid is the one who stood up and said, no, history is written by the actions we do today. Right, and nobody is taking the right actions to solidify Afrobeats in the face of the world as a West African thing. We just know it's West African.
We just know it's Nigeria.
We just know, I beg you, Rana Congolese, Cameroon is to enter. So right now,
when people listen to Libyanka, they
thought exactly. So that's us being passive.
Yes.
If we were active about it, people would know clearly that Kamido is Ghanaian, Burna Boy is Nigerian,
DJ is Ghanaian.
You understand? But we are being passive. Even Neptunes. Plenty of people didn't know Neptunes was Ghanaians. Even Ghanaians heard that Neptunes was Ghanaian. They were like, hey.
But how will you blame when he just popped up and we are now...
I'm not blaming Neptunes. I'm not blaming Neptunes.
You need to allow time to help define things.
Okay. The same way we are allowing time to define hip life.
Listen, before Afrobeats, there was Apple Music. Isn't it? I just got an iPhone.
Baby,
so
calm down.
It was there before we did things. So allow time. Of course, so we will sit on the platform. These platforms are owned by, different, top dogs around the world who are businessmen.
And
yes.
cats.
And cats.
Feminism.
Yes, feminism.
Top dogs and cats.
So you need to allow time for these things to gradually, very soon, don't be surprised an African businessman will create one of the DSPs and we'll all move there. But it is time. It's a conversation. But even in the time conversation, understand that we have protected this thing so well that if anybody wants to try and fight in our space, you have to do it the African way. For the very first time, look at our fashion sense. Look at our fashion sense. It has changed. The kaftan, we took it from India, right? We've localized it. Yeah. They can't. I can't use the F word here, but they can't with us. We are now showing them. It's like a game of chess. So now what we've done is that, look, Nigeria, they know how to mimic very well. So in a game of chess to the world, we push Nigeria to go and do the mimicking for us. When they bring it back, then Africa will localize it and they lose it. I'm telling you that Africa is the new destination. But the terms have changed. In fact, Africa has always been a destination for the West. But when they came 100 years ago, they came to steal. But right now, you can't steal from us. Yeah. Because we have now what God used to create white man and black man and African and Caucasian, all those things are now at play. That is why I don't need, like right now as I sit here right now, I don't first a destination was you want to go to UK to go and chill. Right now it is 10. Ghana has added on value to Ghana's chilling in Ghana. So it's now December in GH. Yeah. We are changing the narrative. It's a time conversation.
We are changing it, but we spoke on the Jay. No. Jay, we spoke on that same narrative.
The businesses are engaging.
You contradicted yourself.
So very soon you are going to hear.
Jay.
Very soon.
I'm just looking at him.
Look, I'm telling you.
You contradicted yourself.
That's what.
You are the same one. We had the conversation on.
Yes.
We had the same conversation here about this Ghana December thing, and we said that we are too focused on music-centered content.
Structures to it.
I was talking about that if we don't, we said that. No, don't get me wrong. I never did I say that.
But where you are standing is only wrong. We'll get to.
No, I never said that we have given. We have given Afrobeats to the West and lost it. My argument on that serial was that we have amplified Afrobeats, and we as Ghanaians, this is an internal argument. We as Ghanaians have amplified Afrobeats, so we shouldn't expect the revenues coming back to us because we are not good at it. So now I'm advocating for every Ghanaian artist to start calling their songs hip life if we want to own something. But that's inter-African conversations.
Do you know the solution?
I'm talking about Africa to the West. Don't confuse it. I'm talking Africa to the West.
It shouldn't be Africa to the West. It should be Africa,
now,
full stop.
We are getting Africans in...
Jay.
Like the West has no option.
Jay.
Look, let me get your attention, all of you. The West has no option but to employ an African to manage its platform. I lie? Am I lying?
We have options, Jay.
10 years ago, did you ever hear Dre doing any collaboration with any African? Phil sat in your seat. and said Dre reached out to him and he went into the studio. He showed us pictures. Do you know why? Because Dre has played too many hip-hop beats. Now he's tired. He has to now start looking into Africa. But to engage us, it's on our terms. We will be wowed by the fact that we applaud brands and legends like Dr. Dre. He's my idol. We will give him all the clout. Yes, I like Dre. I play Dre music crazy. I love it. But still, when it comes to our own, our King Promises, give me more Afrobeat Ghanaian artists.
You let me land my last point.
When it comes to us,
you can do collection.
If you want to engage on our terms, I will tell you. Look, I'll tell you something. Yesterday, a certain brand reached out to me and was producing a radio ad. And he said, please, look at the script and localize it for me. Why? Because I'm coming into a terrain that I need to respect. That if I don't let the people, if I don't speak their language, and you see, it's language, it's powerful. If I don't speak their language, they will not accept me. There is no way. Listen, play that song again. Please, production. Can you please play the song again? I beg you. I'm begging you.
Let me land my point. Let me land my point.
Promise that when the show is ending, we'll play.
Yes. So let me land my point. Let me land my first. I have 3 points.
I'm sorry, we couldn't.
My first point is that you have contradicted yourself and acknowledged the Grammy as the biggest platform, and that platform is external to Africa. If we love Africa, and we love Afrobeats, there should be a platform where African Afrobeats artists are on it in Africa, so that even if a Ras or a DJ Khaled play Afrobeats,
you will get award from that side.
If he doesn't get an award from the African Afrobeats whatever festival, it be beans.
Rich.
We don't have that. We, with all our great Afrobeats, are still going to America for validation for them to say your Afrobeats is nice. Do you understand? That's my
which was the example Lele and I made earlier.
The biggest platform, but we have infiltrated it.
Cyril,
listen,
I want to supply you with a point.
Okay.
Hedis was held in Atlanta. Last year because they wanted to take the conversation there. They wanted to get the validation there as well. So,
he also came with his own backlash.
Yeah, so
let's read some comments from our listeners and
please
viewers.
read, Pa, because
89 says, I thought music was boundless. We have rap and hip-hop artists in Ghana who have made a living from the Western genre. One white dude makes an Afrobeat record and you guys are mad. All I hear is fear and panic in your voices. Jay Foley, you are blazing hot. Hairstas Hester says, I support Jay wholeheartedly. Afrobeats cannot be taken away from Africans. There is nothing to be afraid of. The world has no choice than to dance to our tunes. Okay. Arthur Quab says, Olele, but why would Cyril compare a genre which have been on DSPs over a decade to a genre which was just added to a DSP not less than 3 years? Well, according to that,
why the 3 years? So data cannot exist for 3 years. How long does it take for data to exist?
Yeah. It's not time for our viewers, please. Roger just says, true, Cyril. When uploading a release online, there is no Afrobeat or high life in the genres. All right, let me get some more. I think this guy did a thread, so I'll try and read it real quick. This is coming from Nana Kojo Mola. All right. Okay. Nana Kojo Mola, what did you say? Hey, Nana Kojo. Sorry, let me read Steven's own first. Afrobeat does not need industry playing or gatekeeping to survive or be sustained at the moment. Wherever you hear Afrobeat in the world now, everyone thinks African, and that won't change. That is coming from Steven. Okay, let me read this one from... okay, there you go. Okay, Nanako Jumula, I had to read this one before I go. The problem is that Nigerians have main character syndrome. They are trying to gatekeep something which isn't something they own. Few months ago, they were pissed Amapiano was being gatekept from Nigerians. How do they want inclusion and then get pissed? The people they want inclusion from are jumping on their sound. Yes, there should be room to have someone back home on foreign records, but trying to gatekeep the genre would almost be impossible.
Look, this convo didn't end.
But today you fire.
Yeah,
like he's on a different time.
Like what's up? Like
I'm very.
He didn't take his pills.
Charlie. No, the show for editing.
Let's play the song. Let's play the song.
I think it was Kwame Nkrumah reincarnated.
A shock. Because the way Charlie, you're
putting the video back.
Patriotism. Then
if you like him, the song, go like him. If you, go jam and go like him. If the song you like him, play the song. Put the song back for the people.
Charlie, thank you so much. Should you do a part 2 tomorrow?
Yes, we have to. want to say a big thank you to our sponsors as well, to Pepsodent and to Hallmark as well for being a part of the show this morning. We are back here again tomorrow, same time, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on Culture Daily. But still, if you like the song, then you go play it.
And no, the big conversation repeats at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Every weekday.
Yeah.
Give it love, give it love.
If you like the song in this.
We like it. Give me love, give me love, give me love, give me love.